You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. Welcome to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions. Your host tonight is the author of the Pro-Black Compendium and Zuberi and the Maroons of Maa, the Pan-African Nationalist, Oni. Oni, what are we discussing tonight?
Today we are discussing The Man Who Rapes Men in Prison, a play, of course, by yours truly, Onitaset Kumat. This play was written in April 11th, 2015, but in 2017, April 27, Mwalimu Baruti wrote of the play that it is a statement every warrior and potential warrior needs to read, contemplate, and act on. Abibifahodie. If you are not aware of who Mwalimu Baruti is, he is, according to a friend of mine, one of the few authentic Africans in the limelight. One of the few. Mwalimu Baruti also has a school and a publishing house, and his book Sesh was an excellent reading for self-publishing. The friend of mine who connected me with Baruti, or who let the play get in sight of Baruti, was Intellectual Maroon. He is more frequently seen on Tumblr, but this brother was propagating the ABS message even before I was. You know, I would write the articles on WordPress. He apparently ran the Facebook for the African Blood Siblings, even without my understanding. You know, at one point, a friend of mine, you know, told me, you know, in person, they said, I really like what you're doing on Facebook. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't been on Facebook in years, but Intellectual Maroon is there on Facebook, pushing the message, pushing the word out, and managing to get into contact with, you know, other great nationalists. And those other nationalists are connecting and getting and seeing what it is that we have to offer. And of course, that is instructive. That is instructive because the reality is that there are few messages out there worth listening to, but people are counting on you to get the worthwhile messages to them, and with a matter of urgency, with a matter of haste. I can be honest with you and tell you that the sales for the Pro-Black Compendium have slowed down. The sales of Zuberi and the Maroons of Maa not matching up, you know, but part of the reason is because, let's face it, you're getting lazy. You understand? You understand, on the one hand, that our people need to start moving forward. And you understand that there is literature to move our people forward. But you're not on our people strong enough. You're not on our people strong enough. And because you are not on our people strong enough, our people suffer longer. we suffer longer. The duties that we have is to get our people on the right track, on the right path. We need enough people to have the right mentality. Once upon a time, it was Chancellor Williams. Get that Chancellor Williams in a brother or sister's hand. But we didn't do that. You understand? We let Chancellor Williams die, and even though he was meticulous and thorough with the message that the white man is our enemy, today you see that most of our people can't fathom that. Now you have a second opportunity. Okay, you have a second opportunity, and believe me, it's more than a second. But let's just say if Chancellor Williams was one, you have a second opportunity, right? And you're not taking it. You're not taking it serious enough. I don't know if you need to print out my cards and hand it to brothers and sisters on the street. I don't know if you need to do that. Whatever it is that you need to do to get the Pro-Black Compendium in a brother or sister's hands, get her done. If it means that you have to purchase additional books just to give them to people worthwhile, get her done. Because, let's face it, it's not being done. And sure, you could say, hey, Oni, that's on you. Oni, you want to spread a good message and you want people to get a good book? That's on you. That's very true. And I take that. Because I'm like Delaney in the sense of I'm never going to go to a coward or a traitor's grave. You understand? I'm never going to go to a coward or a traitor's grave. Maybe a pauper's grave, but never a coward or a traitor's grave. And that's where I am. Like I said, the brother Intellectual Maroon made the Facebook page. He's running it now. I don't even know what it looks like. You know, because, you know, Facebook has its, you know, its problems. But brother's taking one for the team. He's logging on to that, you know, privacy, you know, death trap, you know, but he's taking one for the team. And the only question is, what are you doing? Because, you know, just like I don't see the sales for the Pro-Black Compendium or Zuberi and the Maroons of Maa, I don't even see the reviews. I don't even see the reviews. The reviews are very important. They're small gestures, but they're very important. And I need you, you know, to, as that white boy says, get her done. You know? I mean, it's probably a southern thing, I don't know, but get her done. Get it done. But let's get to this play. So I'm going to read the introduction to this play, because when I was writing articles regularly, I always wrote an introduction, right? And maybe we should dissect this, and then we can go into a commercial. But again, listen to me. You know what needs to be done. And trust me, it's going to be hard to get what's done without people having knowledge. That's why I wrote the book of knowledge. Okay? I wrote a book of knowledge. You need to get your people reading in order for our people to start leading. So anyway, in the service of our ancestors in African love, listen, seeker, I come in peace. Now check this. This is a quote from, yours truly. The function of propaganda is to identify the target's forces and enemies. Listen to me. The book, the Pro-Black Compendium, is propaganda. You understand? This is war propaganda. This is why I want you to get the book into the hands of black people, because this is war propaganda on your team. You understand? It's like the war propaganda of a poster. You want to get that poster you want to put it up in an area that black people frequent. You understand? If you know the propaganda is good for you, you want to get it in the hands of black people. For some reason, you don't see that. You don't see that. Give some testimonials about how good the book is. Give some testimonials. Let people know. DM people. DM them. Say, hey, did you get a copy of this book? I really think you'd like it. DM people. Because again, you need to our people can't identify our forces or our enemies. We're confused about that. And this is just a quote. This quote is in the Pro-Black Compendium, by the way. But this is just a quote. And you got to understand how much it applies to you. Your people don't have propaganda. But the enemy's propaganda is going to confuse your people about who their forces are and who their enemies are. They're going to tell your people, hey, look, Black Lives Matter is your people, is your forces. They're fighting on your behalf. Oh, and your enemies, oh man, that's the Republicans. Oh, that's the Republicans. You know how the Republicans do. If you've heard that before, listen to me. If that makes sense to you, that you heard that resonates with you, you need to get propaganda in the hands of your people and get the Pro-Black Compendium in their hands. Case closed. But look, and actually look at this first sentence. And this is me writing a play in 2015. Okay, I said when it comes to propaganda, the Caucasian is beatable, but nearly unchallenged. This play is a vocal challenge against his agenda. We need to be clear on who among our people are our viable forces and who aren't. Are same-sex predators for the African family, or are so-called homosexuals agents of African confusion and European culture? I do not doubt that this is a sensitive subject in the West, where Africans will not wince at the repeated utterance of nigger, but will feel uneasy whenever one says the word faggot. However, Martin Luther King Jr. had said, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it political? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor political, nor popular, but one must take it simply because it is right. And I tend to agree. Listen, we as a race will not excel if we hide behind cowardice, expediency, or vanity. If any organizer cannot announce to the world that the Caucasian is your enemy, and homosexuality is exclusive to the Caucasian's culture, then that organizer is unfit to organize you. And if you understand the wholesale rape in prisons fostered by Caucasian oppression, and the wholesale homosexualization of African men and women not yet in prison or dead, but you still feel repulsed by any anti-homosexual rhetoric, then I wish you better understanding in the years to come. However, For now, I will make it clear. We cannot afford to sacrifice our traditional family structures for a pat on the head regarding our tolerance. A people should never be tolerant of their destruction. So there's a lot to unpackage there. All right? There's a lot to unpackage there, right? As I said, white boy got propaganda, and it's beatable, right? But you're not challenging it. Okay? The Pro-Black Compendium is a challenge to the white boy's propaganda, and you are not using that weapon to challenge them. Okay? You're not using that weapon. And when I say challenge them, I mean challenge them for the minds of your people. Okay? You don't have to go to the white boy and say, yo, this is a good book right here. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You go over to these to the brothers and sisters. The brothers and sisters that might not be that far. Okay? Might think they're ahead. You know what I'm talking about. Right? You go to them and you say, look, man, you need to read this book. Cover to cover. You need to read this book. You're welcome. Even tell them, hey, look, man, I'll pay for half of it. Okay? I'll pay for half of it. All right? I'll pay whatever it takes. You need to get this. If you see a brother or sister that's humble, right? Intelligent, okay? Looking to do something, get the book in his or her hands. End of story. And if you say, hey, I don't know anybody like that, get to know some people. Okay? Go out to these events. Right? Go out to these events. Go out to these lectures. Get some numbers. All right? Use the chapter in the Pro-Black Compendium on charming people. Use that chapter. Okay? Talk about it on your dates. You say, hey, what's your favorite book? She says, oh, well, she or he, whatever, whatever is your opposite, right? The person says, oh, man, my favorite book, well, that would be, Souls of Black Folk by W.B. Du Bois. Don't matter if they say that. You say, well, look, my favorite book is the Pro-Black Compendium. And it really speaks to what needs to be done. And if more of our people read that and understood that and practiced it, we'd be better off. We'd be further off. And I don't even want to get with anybody who's not about that life. You can go that far. You don't have to go that far, but you can. The whole point is that if we're about getting our people's minds right, we got to do it. But let's keep going forward. Let's see. This play is a vocal challenge, right? We need to be clear on who our forces are. Now we have, and this is an important thing right here too. I say so-called homosexuals, right? I don't believe that there are black homosexuals, right? And let me finish, right? There are black people who are homosexualized, okay? The Caucasian is the Eurasian is the one who's homosexual. You understand what I'm saying to you? He is homosexual. You're homosexualized, okay? And I don't mean just because he might have touched you when you were younger or something, right? Which happens a lot. Let's admit that, right? But the propaganda, again, like I said, there's propaganda. There is socialization. There's a lot of factors that there's us imitating them. You understand? There's us imitating them. There's a whole lot, like it's like, black people are not Christians. We're Christianized. You get what I'm saying? We're not born Christians. We're made into Christians. You see what I'm saying? And people might say, hey, look, man, there's going to be a lot of dumb things, a lot of dumb ideas that'll be like, well, what about, why would anybody choose to be a part of a persecuted group? The same reason why they would choose to be a Christian or a Muslim or a Voodoo practitioner or anything, really, a Democrat, a Republican. you can make those choices because of socialization. There is a lot of factors that go into your decision making. Okay, I could I wrote it down to 4 mostly. Let's see. I mean, it's ideas, environment, people, obviously, and spirit. Okay, but the point is that, let's say you go to spirit, which would be what you are, right? Who you are, outside influences, right? You're not a homosexual or dissexual or whatever. You're heterosexual. That's who you are. Now contrast that to the Eurasian. He's struggling to be heterosexual. You get what I'm saying? He's struggling to be heterosexual. Because his nature is, he wants, like, if it's a man, he wants to mess with a dude. You understand what I'm saying to you? He wants to mess with a dude. He wants to mess with a child. He wants to mess with a boy. But that's him. And we, our people get homosexualized, by, via cultural proximity, if you will. Via them. They put that message on us. They put that mess on us. But I say all this to say that I'm not condemning our people. You know what I mean? For falling victim to some sort of, to one of the many poisons that Eurasians offer us. I don't condemn our people over that. But we also need to be clear that it's natural to Eurasians, not Africans. Okay? And of course, somebody might say, hey, wait a second though. And this is something important too, right? They say, but you can observe this in animals but you gotta see the context of these animals. You observe this in animals with destroyed families, destroyed communities. You understand? Like all the like the women are just low in number, or the community is just gone to crap, right? Then you observe it. You understand? As I say that, it goes back to that whole sociological thing, and there are many examples, but actually, when I think about it, I included one into the Pro-Black Compendium, which was the example of what happens in the mouse environment when you put mice in what is effectively a ghetto for mice. As I say, overpopulation. When you put that overpopulation on them, you have feminine males. You have mice who are, like into other men. You have women who don't like female mice who stay away from the male mice, partly because some of the male mice are overly aggressive. You get what I'm saying? You see all this in a mouse experiment, right? And these mouse experiments eventually evolve into the housing projects. Within years of the findings, you see housing projects coming up, right? But again, that goes back to homosexualization. And of course, you see this, of course, in the prisons. You have these men who are heterosexual. You understand? And now some of you might say, well, no, they're just closet fat. No. These were straight men on the outside who are put into horrendous conditions to the point where that's what happens. You understand? It's homosexualization. And Wazungu knows how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's so and of course when you see it in the mice and when you see it in the animals, you might say, well, look, that might not be an imitation. And it's not always going to be wholly imitation, right? But then again, you look at what constitutes femininity and you see that it's an imitation. You understand? You see that it's an imitation because you're imitating the white women. But we're gonna move forward. Again, I go to this other part where I say, look, you won't wince at all at the repeated utterance of nigger. Okay? Now, some of you might say, well, what about, well, really, we say nigger. It don't matter what you say. You don't care when you see it. But if somebody says faggot, you're like, oh my gosh. Somebody call somebody on this guy. You understand? Why do you care? And you're black. Okay? You're black. Why do you care more for the word faggot than you do for the word nigger? You have nigger and nigger this and nigger that all over your music, all over it. Okay? You're not, oh my gosh, he just said nigger. Oh my gosh, he said nigger. Oh gosh. You understand? But then you see the word faggot, you hear one person say faggot, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's bigot. Go back to what I said about propaganda, right? Go back to what I said about propaganda. You know, you have to start valuing yourself. Case closed. And if you feel like if you are homosexualized and you're like, hey man, well, I'm both a faggot and a nigger, or whatever you want to say, or you want to say, I take offense to both words, whatever, right? If you want to say that, all well and good, but again, you know, this is something that we don't understand, right? Back to there's a phrase called individualism, right? And this is something that we don't understand. In individualism, because essentially there were no homosexuals, quote unquote, before, and listen, hear this one out, okay? Before a certain year in Europe, right, there was no homosexuals, and I mean like a modern year, right? Like I want to say 1700 something. I haven't read this in a while, right? But the idea was that nobody was identifying, even in Europe, nobody was identifying themselves as a homosexual or limiting themselves to strictly homosexual activity. You know, basically they were a bunch of bisexuals, okay, quote unquote, but they didn't identify themselves, or let's say bisexuals, pansexuals, whatever you want to call it. But the whole idea was that they didn't identify themselves by their sexuality. Okay, they were just sick, perverted people, because that's who they are. They're Europeans. They're sick and perverted, right? But the whole thing is that they didn't see it as a part of their identity. Okay, they didn't see it as a part of their identity. It wasn't an aspect of themselves. You know, it's not like, you know, like today, you know, you might see, you know, men who identify as men with beards. You know, like that's not something that's a part of individualism. You get what I'm saying? Like you would, like, oh, I'm a dude with a beard, or I'm a dude who don't wear glasses, or I'm a dude who who only wears shorts everywhere. You know, it's not really a part of your identity per se, but in the era of individualism, that's how you identify yourself. So it's to say that this homosexual, right, didn't really exist in you know, until individualism, if you will. You know, nobody was like, oh man, I'm a person who you know, my sex life is my identity. You know, because what you see today, and of course, you know, not only is their sex life their identity, they dress according to their sex life, they talk according to their sex life. They, you know, that's a new phenomenon. You get what I'm saying? There were men having sex with men, but they weren't necessarily homosexuals. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's a new phenomenon. It's derivative of individualism. And you got to understand that, because a lot of people will say, you know, a lot of people will think, hey, look, man, but you're talking about homosexuals. No, that's not a real group. It's not a real group. Okay? It's people identifying with a sexuality. Right? And dressing and so on and so forth. But it's not a real group. It's just individualism. Okay? It's just individualism. It's just another means or methods for separating people. Right? Again, these are homosexualized individuals. Right? You don't even have to identify them as such, but if you needed to, right? These are homosexualized people. And just like, you know, if you see let's say, for lack of a better word, a thug, right? You understand that there was a process to make a black person, a black child, a thug. You know, to dress like one, to act like one, to talk like one. There was a process, a larger process that made him so. He wasn't born that way. You understand? He wasn't born that way. But let's go to the first commercial. And this is going to be for the Pro-Black Compendium. And not just that. Don't forget to get this Carlos A. Cook's book. But this first commercial is going to be for the Pro-Black Compendium, all right? Check it out.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
When will African people have basic rights? When will we be protected? When will our cost of living be eliminated? When will our cultures be preserved? We need a new leadership, one that has studied the problems and learned the solutions. The Pro-Black Compendium is the book to start off that leadership. Quotations, essays, poems, stories, codes of conduct, curricula, principles, relationship advice, marketing tips, group economics, games, book clubs, movie nights, chronologies, civilizations, wars, warriors, authors, songs, conflict resolution. The list goes on. There is no book more necessary for starting our people on the path to African redemption.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right, so we're going to start this play, and it's called The Man Who Rapes Men in Prison, right? And it's between two, for the most part, two brothers, right? And of course, you know, maybe you won't call the brother Guru, or you won't call Guru a brother, but, you know, that's how I talk, all right? I call black people brother, you know, and I call brother, you know, all right. That's how I talk, right? So, between Guru and Ami Pan, okay? And if I remember correctly, Ami Pan had a meeting, but I don't remember the meaning right now, right? So, I'm going to give Guru a voice, I'm going to give Ami Pan a voice, and y'all give me the, you know, whatever award you give somebody for great acting, you know, whatever it is, right? So, you really quiet for a nigga locked up. Nigga, why don't you talk? Nigga, I'm not a nigger. What you say? I said I'm not a nigger. Well, you look like a nigga. Well, all right, buddy. Can't believe a nigga said he ain't a nigga. Hey, nigga, how you figure you ain't a nigga? My name is Ami Pan, not nigger. Oh, you funny, Ami Pan. They call me Guru on account of me reading all the books here. Here? There are no books here. You are funny. In the library. Is there a library here? Every prison has a library. Well, every prison I have been to. How long have you been in prisons? 12 years now. I see. You should check out the library. Good books in there. I do not plan to stay that long. Nigga, how long they give you? Crackers don't give me anything. I create. Nigga, you in prison, ain't you? How long they say? They said indefinite. No time limit. Multiple life sentences. But I never believe a word a cracker says. Nigga, you in prison, ain't you? What's there not to believe? Think Whitey gonna just free you? No, I never look at crackers for my liberation. No, I know our people are going to free me. You funny. What they charge you with? Insanity? Being too funny? Being ridiculous? Man, shut up. What you say, nigga? I said shut up. I'm not afraid of you. Nigga, you soon will be. Keep up your funny talk. The hunter in pursuit of an elephant does not stop to throw stones at birds. Nigga, I oughta. Be quiet in there. Okay, so that's the warden. You talk so big to me, but you are silent when your oppressor speaks. Really silent. You'll learn. I doubt it. Whatever, man. What they got you in here for? The book. Murder. Conspiracy to murder. Inciting a riot. The book. So, you are a murderer? I murder the whites and black minds. So, yeah. Nigga, was you a poet? I'm just an African in America. Nigga, you funny. But we're gonna have to get serious now. I'm gonna need you to come suck my dick. I beg your pardon? Nigga, you in prison now. I ain't have a cellmate in a while. You a small looking nigga. I'm gonna need you to come suck my dick. You must be out of your African mind. Well, I'm about to beat your African ass. So they fight, and Amipan is victorious. You stupid fool! You some kind of faggot? Answer me. You some kind of faggot? I ain't no faggot. So what was that? Nigga, don't you call me a nigga again. Amipan, this is prison. What you trying to say? I didn't like when I was raped. When I did my rapist, but Amipan, this is prison. So someone rapes you and you don't kill him? You don't get it. Instead, you yourself become a rapist? You don't get it. Sounds like you were just a faggot. I'm not a faggot, man. Then you were just a punk. I'm not worried about your gang here. I'm not even standing here. You can kick my ass, but you ain't doing shit to the guards. Let me worry about that. Guru. Why am I not surprised a fool will be named Guru? I'm not a fool. How you figure? I read every book in this library. I know everything that goes on here. I'm not a fool. Every book crackers approved for a prison. Everything that goes on in a prison. Man, that's not impressive. It's not even true. You read every book? What do the prison logs say? Who are their personnel? What are their shifts? How much do they get paid? Every book? And everything that goes on in this one little institution? Yeah, sure. If you knew that and didn't find out how to escape for 12 years, then you are a fool. Nick, don't get beat again. You know what makes you a real fool? You are a whitened man. You don't even know it. Black as you are, you've been whitened in these walls. You turned white and became a faggot rapist, and I bet you worship whites too. I only worship God. God is what crackers gave you. God is not Oludumare, Onyame, or Amen. God is what the cracker gave you to worship crackers. You can't talk about a man's God. You ain't a man. You a punk faggot. Besides, I defer to no cracker God, no Caucasian. I see why they locked you up. Well, I'm getting out of here, punk. You ain't going nowhere. I will. How you let this cracker reduce you so much? What are you talking about? I ain't never been shit anyway. You've been a lot before. You've been a healer, a hunter, a protector, an African. You've been a lot before, but now you are you, reduced. You don't heal. You don't hunt. You don't protect. You've been reduced, and you let the cracker reduce you. Man, you've been something before, but you ain't much now. You've been reduced. You ever thought of that, man? How this cracker got you praying after your brother, but praying over crackers? You ever thought about that, man? How you make your brothers worthless pieces of meat for you to nut, but crackers are your almighty? Have you ever thought of this, man? Guru, Imhotep, you fool. You ain't never been a faggot before this white man trapped you in this cage. You ever thought of that, African? When a beast is caged, it adopts the culture imposed upon it. This white man reduced you to a beast. You adopted his culture. You adopted his faggot ways. You became a punk. The weakening of the black race. You lived this life a boy. You never became a man, did you? This cracker. You let him change you into a confused fool. You let him change you. You don't understand. No, you don't. I'm getting out today because I ain't never been no punk. You a prisoner of war because you ain't had no sense to prepare for war. But me, I'm getting out today. Lock everything down. There were explosions in Section C. Something's happening. No shit, Imhotep. Everyone calm down. Everything is under control. On the outside, fools say faggot ways is natural. Man, something is happening. Faggot ways are natural with crackers. That's no doubt. You hear this rumble? Secure the prisoners. But brothers, they were never faggots on the outside. But this changed them. You hearing this? I need backup here now. We're being overwhelmed. Backup. Backup. This intense concentration of cracker ways, cracker supervision, cracker culture transformed them. Oh my God! This is the white man's plan. The weakening of the African race. It's global, not limited by prison walls. Retreat! They're retreating. Black men are fighting and killing and winning. What is this? Too many punks in our race. Not these guys. Who are these guys? Those are my brother warriors. Guys, let me out. He gets released from the cell. What the? Can you take me? You must be out of your African mind. You know damn well you don't want freedom. If you wanted it, you'd have warriors coming for you. It's not that easy. I did it. And I didn't even read every book they gave me. The gate is open. Do what you will. Shemi Imhotep. It's over. We won. What was all that about? Anyone missing? Hey, Guru, close your cell door. Where's Amipan? Guru! I need backup. Amipan is missing. Guru is free and unresponsive. Guru, where's Amipan? I'm a man. I don't worship crackers. They locked me away for 12 years. Limited me. Tortured me. Reduced me. I'm a man. A man. Backup! I need backup. I can run out of this cage. I'm free. Free by my brothers and sisters. From 12 years of chains. No 32 years of chains. Guru, where's Amipan? I'm warning you. Guru! I can run. I am free. A man will fight his enemies to his last breath. They'll shoot me, but I'll be a free man. I can run. I can fight. Guns fixed on Guru. Guru! What are you thinking? A man would run. Ain't I a man? Guru! What are you doing? Well, shoot! Guru! Guru! I think Amipan ran that way. Good boy. So I'm gonna go to Carlos O. Cook's book. I'm gonna go to Carlos A. Cook's break right now.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Peace Seeker. This is Oni from the Pro-Black Perspective, and we need power. Power will not be handed to us. We need to build power. But in order to build power, we need a power blueprint. You need to study the best blueprints available. You have Garveys. You have Wilsons. You have Williams. You have mine. Now, you'll have Cooks. Carlos A. Cooks was Garvey's best student. The greatest mind in the world from 1940 to 1966. Yes, the greatest. Yet Whitey doesn't want you to read his blueprint. Cook's blueprint isn't religious. Cook's isn't for integration. Cooks isn't for communism. Cooks isn't even for anti-blacks. Cook's blueprint is for Africa. And Cook's blueprint is the unknown blueprint that was the basis of black power as we know it today. When you say buy black, you're talking about Cooks. When you say black is beautiful, you're talking about Cooks. When you say Malcolm got something right, you're talking about Cooks. But Cook's blueprint was lost. And Whitey is hiding that blueprint behind $1,000 paywall. He's hiding solutions from you, telling you you need to take out a small loan to get the information that can liberate you. Whitey does not want you to have solutions to your problems, but you need solutions. You need power. I will give you the Carlos A. Cooks Reader, valued over $1,000 at a 98% discount, $15. Send $15 to cash.me/$ABSONI with the subject Carlos and your email address, and I'll send you the ebook. We need power. You need blueprints. Start building today.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio. Greetings, family. This is Koku, host of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. In case you didn't know, we have an online book club called the Bitter Medicine Book Club. Every month, we will select a book to inspire the Bitter Medicine Podcast listening audience to read along together. At the end of the month, we will have a call-in show and book discussion. This is a great, dynamic way for readers to not only enjoy a book, but also have others to bounce ideas off of. They say if you want to keep anything away from black people, put it in a book. Don't allow this to be true. Head over to bittermedicineblogs.com and subscribe to our newsletter for important updates. Do that today. Join our reading collective today and empower yourselves, your family, and your community. Peace and blessings. You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
So I tell you, every time I read that, I say to myself, dang, I wrote that good before? You know what I'm saying? Every time I read that, I'm like, man, I actually wrote that, you know? Oh, man. I see what Baruti meant, you know? Now, I did a fair job on that reading. I did notice one mistake when I say no 32 years of change. You know, Guru's saying he's 32. You know, he's like, 12 years of change. No, 32 years of change. Doesn't say that. He's saying the larger idea that we are in prison for 32 years, right? But Amipan is really the guy to listen to. You know, Amipan is saying, look, if you really want to be free, get the warriors. You know, get warriors together. You know, because you're not free otherwise. Okay? You might think you are, because this is it. You know, you read the Pro-Black Compendium, and it is really the best book you can read. Point blank, period. But no book's going to save you. Okay? This is why you need others to read the book. All right? Because you need... Because a warrior by himself... Look, first off, I never saw Rambo. Okay? I never saw it. I heard of it. my impression is some dude with a machine gun who goes against an army and somehow comes out victorious. That's not real life. All right? It's not real life. One versus an army, the army always wins. Pretty much. I mean, there are exceptions, especially if you have a machine gun, obviously. But the reality is that going against an army, you're likely to lose. Okay? It's just how it is, right? What you need to do if you really want to be free is you need to get into a network. And that network needs to have a certain page. Have to be on a certain page. That page should be the book, the Pro-Black Compendium, Zuberi and the Maroons of Maa, Carlos Cooks, Garvey. These people. You could throw in Wilson, you could throw in Chancellor Williams, you could throw in more. But as the rudiments, Oni, Cooks, Garvey. Okay? The rudiments. Right? Oni, Cooks, Garvey. Put in some Patahotep if you want to. Whatever it is. But Oni, Cooks, Garvey. Alright? And I put that backwards, but, but chronologically. But all the same, Garvey, Cooks, Oni. You have to be on a page, because one time, a long time ago, when I started my group, I was sitting down with some brothers, and we were sitting in the park. Okay, we were sitting in a park, and the brother said, if we were organized, right? What's to stop police from just walking up to us and shooting us? You know what I'm saying? That's a really important question. And to say that even if you have all the knowledge in the world, what's to stop it? And the reality is this: that if you are organized, right? If you are really well organized, if you were intelligently organized, no one would get the drop on you. You understand? No one would get the drop on you, or no one would be so stupid to pull that move on you. You understand? You gotta make people think it's stupid to pull a move like that on you. But that's not gonna happen through just a book. Okay, that's gonna happen through organization. Right? But that organization has to be true and pure and powerful, and that will come about through the Pro-Black Compendium. Okay? That's the difference. You understand? People, you will see that they the U.S. government was going around killing, black men and women, for whatever reason, but they didn't kill Garvey. They didn't kill Cooks. I mean, it's too early to tell for what they're gonna do to me, but they didn't kill those two individuals. You understand? And bear in mind, someone like Cooks, like, if you're being honest, his group assaulted people. You understand? Not just people, assaulted cops. I'm not too sure. You know what I mean? Like they got into physical altercations with the police. You understand? Even Khalid Muhammad's group, Khalid Muhammad and them got into physical altercations. And this is a matter of public record, right? Before y'all say, I'm snitching, right? But of course the difference is that they killed Khalid Muhammad, right? But again, that's where it's important. You see what I'm saying? Through organization, more can be achieved. More is possible. For instance, in the UNIA, let's say, who knows what happened, right? But some integrationist was killed, right? So the police, their police, the Eurasian police went to the UNIA, tried to go to the UNIA meeting, tried to get into the UNIA meeting in order to find the quote unquote perpetrators, right? And what happened was they were stalled at the door. You understand? They were stalled at the door and allowing the perpetrators to escape the building, right? And I think that eventually the perpetrators or the alleged perpetrators were cleared. Okay, like they did go to court, and with the resources of the UNIA behind them, they were free to go after, let's say effectively, allegedly, murder, right? And let's not even worry about clearing the courts or not. But what I'm saying is, this is the difference between organization and disorganization. Because the reality is that when the police wants to get you today, when you are not organized, guess what? They just walk up. They say, "Hey, I'm a police officer. I'm coming in now." And you say, "Oh, sure. Can I make you some tea?" You understand? Because you ain't organized. Because you're not organized. And you're not worried. Ami Pan, you don't have to understand the backstory. For 32 years, Guru wasn't doing nothing. He thinks he's all smart. He thinks he's reading books and whatnot. And he's reading the books that crackers want him to read. You understand? And he's in prison. He's in prison and he just follows the cracker wave. Ami Pan did not spend his life like that. Okay? Ami Pan said, "Look, I'm a part of an organization." He organized. He's a part of an organization. His members have a responsibility towards him. You understand what I'm saying to you? His members have a responsibility towards him. You understand? Let's see if I can the whole thing, we have a article in the Pro-Black Compendium called "What is African Power?" Right? And the reality is that power, right, revolves around mutual responsibility, right? So seeing that Ami Pan needed someone, right? His organization organized to get him free. And of course, y'all could, you could see the similarity between, what happened with Ami Pan and what happened with Assata Shakur, right? That's intentional. But the whole idea is that that's where we need to be, okay? Now there's a lot to learn and digest from this story, from this play. Definitely, if you want to, if you need to, make your own recording. Send me a recording. Send me your commentary on my recording or even on your own recording. Maybe I could even play that on the Pro-Black Perspective, right? But and you can play it between 3 people. One of you could be the warden, one of you could be Guru, one of you could be Ami Pan. You could do like I did, be all 3 of the people. You could write the sequel. You could write Guru's story 5 years later. What happens? Let's say Ami Pan, says, "Let me break this brother out." Or maybe Guru's getting letters and he's off of his ways. But the whole thing is that engage, interact, put some stuff on social media, get our people more involved. You could do a dramatic reading. You could do a play. Do whatever it takes. If you love the play, let me know. Unfortunately, I didn't include it into the Pro-Black Compendium. But I included other good stuff. I didn't really include any of the plays or the dialogues. But I included other good stuff. And if you need to see this play, it's online. It's on the African Blood Siblings WordPress website. But definitely, like I said, it's if you love this book, first off, get those reviews up. Get the review onto Amazon site if you can, try to get it onto the Amazon.com site in particular. You know, you can put it on your local site as well, but try to put it on the Amazon.com site, because all the other sites, you know, whether it's, you know, the English one or the Canadian one or whatever, they all show the ones for, you know, America, I guess, right? .com, but the .com doesn't show the ones for the other countries. So, you know, if you can, if you already sent out a review, but you sent it on another website, try to get it onto the main one, right? But overall, I thank you so much for what you've already done. Thank you for sharing these videos. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for purchasing the book. Thank you for purchasing the book for your friends. Thank you for buying the Carlos A. Cook's book. Thank you for listening, you know, and we'll talk again. You know, my phone is down right now. That's why you're listening to me instead of Asimendices. But when I get it back, you know, we'll move that program. You know, we'll still have that program, you know. So I know a lot of you looking forward to Asimendices, but you know, that might have to be next week. But until then, until we speak again, you know, Shem Otep, Ankucha, Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Netcher. Thank you for listening. I invite you to join hands with your brothers and sisters as we recite the African affirmation together. It's a call and response, so follow my lead. We are an African people, robbed from our homeland, robbed of our names, our languages, our cultures, our religions, our womanhood, our manhood, our sisterhood, our brotherhood, our motherhood, our fatherhood, our selfhood, our nationhood, and our self-respect. But we shall rise, never to fall again. Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.